Oh, no. Ah! Oh! Oh, God. Yes! Hey YouTube, what's going on? Today's video is going to be awesome, but as you can probably tell from the title of the video and the thumbnail, and of course the sling I'm wearing, I'm not doing super awesome myself. So at the time of filming this 11 days ago, or at the time of it being uploaded 2 weeks ago, I managed to have one of the worst crashes I've had in a long time. Probably one of my worst crashes ever, and I broke my left collarbone and my left clavicle quite badly. And so I'm doing okay, but I'm obviously off my bike for quite a while, probably at least 8 weeks, maybe even 12. And I thought to get a video out to you guys today that I would break down the crash, show you what happened, and give a bit of context of what led up to the crash and some of the awesome sessions that me and Christian Heist have been having together on his airbag landing and all the progression we've been having, because it has been super duper fun. So for the video, we'll break down the crash, give you an insight of some of the tricks we've been learning and working on. I've got my laptop here. I've got a clip of the crash on my laptop. I'm going to play the full clip for you guys to watch in full, unedited. Then I'm going to slow it down, break it down, show you guys and talk to you guys about what happened, what I was actually trying, and how it felt throughout the process. So here's the clip here. A bit of a warning if you haven't seen it before. It's not gory or graphic, but I do hit the ground pretty hard. You can tell I'm in pain. So if you're not into this kind of thing, feel free to skip the video or skip ahead. But there's your warning. Let's get into this crash. Oh, no. Ah! Oh! Oh. Oh. I am, but I'm sore as heck. I'm done. Yeah, so obviously a heavy slam. Probably the worst crash I've had in what I'd say is like the last 5 years. This one flipping hurt. Like I hit the ground so hard. So obviously we're riding on Christian Heisted's amazing DD airbag slide-on lander setup. I just want to put a disclaimer out there. This wasn't Airbag Landing's fault. I still highly recommend DD Airbag's products. They've saved me so many times. They probably made this crash better than what it would have been. And I just couldn't recommend them enough. I'll definitely continue to keep using their products after this crash. It was 100% my fault because I stuffed up the trick. Nothing to do with the DD airbag not being safe. So make sure you check out DD airbags. But as I said, we're riding the DD airbag. So if we start taking a look at this crash now, let's go back a little bit so we can see what I was up to. So I click play here. You'll see with my hands, I was doing like a wee bar spin motion there. So the trick I was wanting to try was an opposite truck driver. So if you don't know what a truck driver is, what opposite means, to start off, a truck driver is when you do a 360, and while you do the 360, you do a bar spin. So you spin a full 360 degrees with the bike, while the bars spin 360 degrees in your hand. Normally, I spin to the left on the 360 and throw my bar spins to the right when I do it for a normal truck driver. For an opposite truck driver, I start off with an opposite 360, so instead of spinning left, I spin to the right, which in itself is one of the hardest things I could do. I'd say Oppo 3 is probably in like the top 5 hardest things I can do, especially on a jump this big. For context, doing tricks the opposite way to how you normally do them. It's like if you've ever played baseball or softball, if you're right-handed, you'd pitch with like your right hand. It'd be like trying to pitch with your left hand. It's insanely hard. So as you can see with my hands, I was trying to go for an Oppo track. So if we click play again, you'll see I sort of take a deep breath, I drop in here. Now it was quite wet, so if I just pause again, you see it was obviously a wet day. My tire's wet, the ramp's wet, and there's a bit of a rut down the middle. And when I Oppo 3, I tend to carve too far to the right, and I was quite nervous about falling off the side. At this stage, I'd already done probably 5 opposite 3s and tried 4 Oppo trucks. And so my line was a bit different to normal. I'd drop in way off to the side and then sort of 360 off the left side of the ramp to try and make up for the carve. So you can see I do that there. I go to the side of the rut and a little bit to the left where I'd normally go. And now you can see where I paused here. Already I've stuffed up. When you do a truck driver of any sort of any kind of bar spin, you need to get off the back of the bike on the lip straight away and pinch the seat with your knees. And because I was doing an Oppo 3, because I feel a bit awkward, when I spun, it felt weird off the lip, and I ended up too far forward. So you can see my knees are way too close to my handlebars there. So let's go back. So you see I go up for the 3, knees are too close, and I try to correct it. And you can see I'm sort of leaning over to the side of the bike a bit, like almost like I was going to crack a table. I definitely wasn't, but my knees are over the side of the bike, which is already putting me off balance. And actually, if we just have a listen, I'll go back to the normal speed one really quick. So if you listen, you can hear I'm already saying, no, because I know my knees are in the wrong spot. And actually, as you can see where I've paused, my knee is way over. So my weight's already way over the side of the bike. So when I land, I know when I land that all my weight's to one side. So I'm probably going to fall off that side of the bike. So I kind of knew in the air already that it was bad. I didn't know it was this bad. So if we go back to the slow-mo to break it down, sorry team. So we're up the lip, didn't pinch the seat, knees are wrong, knees are over the bike. When I land, you can tell I'm probably like 20 degrees off a full 360. So instead of facing like dead straight, I'm facing this way already, which means like one, I'm likely to high side already and fall to the side I haven't rotated to enough. And with me being under rotated like this and all my weight over here, all the force for me is going to automatically go to the right. And so then what happened, sorry, I'll go back again. So knees are wrong, I'm way too far to the right, I've under rotated. And then because I've under rotated, I do get thrown to the side. Because I'm on an airbag, unfortunately, it does lessen the impact, but it does bounce you a little bit when you crash. So my bike digs in, I bounce off to the right. And then you see my hands manage to catch the airbag, and I'm like, I might get away with this here. But unfortunately, this part of the airbag, my hands are on. Like this is the side of the bag. So like if you imagine this flat bit of my phone is the top of the bag. Sorry, it's hard to hold. The flat bit's the top of the bag. Then these volume buttons to the side. It's like the side of a mattress, right? Like if you grab the side of the mattress, it's not going to save you. So this wasn't going to save me. I was essentially just falling off the side. And then you see like, I basically front flip. And now this edge here, this is hard packed dirt under this polyethylene tarp. So this airbag slide on lander, it's not all airbag. Christian built with a tractor and like bulldozer, this massive dirt landing, packed and super hard. And that landing's been there for at least 6 years. So it is super duper hard packed dirt. Like it's basically concrete at this stage. And underneath that tarp is the sharp edge of the jump. So it's like I can't really do it with my hand. It's like a right angle. And as you can see, I go right towards it. My face doesn't actually hit it. So remember, this is the left side of my helmet where my GoPro is mounted here, which would mean my shoulder is back a little bit. You can kind of see where my hands are on the bag. And then on that edge there, you can't see it. But if I just go back, I manage to catch my shoulder like here, right on my collarbone. So let's go back again. My collarbone, so I do the Oppo 3 up probably like, 4 or 5 meters above the ramp, land, bounce. And then off the side of the bag is like a 3 meter fall. So maybe a 3.5 meter fall at pace, straight onto my collarbone on this hard edge. So if you imagine like my head and all my body went past the edge, but my collarbone caught it. So it's like I jumped, and if my camera bit on my phone was like the edge, this was my collarbone, it's like my body went past it, but my collarbone hit the edge and took all the impact. And so if we just watch the whole thing in full speed now, I'll stop talking for a second. And so hopefully that's a bit of a laugh for you guys hearing the pain. I knew instantly that like it flipping hurt. So my collarbone took the impact straight onto it. And I didn't know at the time, but it broke. So if we go back now to the original clip in normal speed. Sorry, a bit of jumping around here, team. We'll just listen to what I say. So I know I've stuffed up, bounce. So I knew I was sore. My breathing's super bad. Funnily enough, my bike landed upright. And I'm in a lot of pain here. Sorry, we'll just rewind again to what I said then. Just listen carefully. I am, but I'm sore as heck. I'm done. Oh, sorry, I'll go back one more time. So I say I'm sore as heck, but I'm done. So Christian didn't see my crash really. He just heard it. So you listen to Christian. I am, but I'm sore as heck. I'm done. You can hear correctly there. You hear Christian say a couple times, "You all right?" The first time, I don't really hear him because I've just hit the ground. The adrenaline's pumping. I'm like, oh, this sucks. The second time I do hear him and I say, yeah, I'm super sore though. I'm done. And when I say I'm done, I didn't actually realize my collarbone was broken. I just thought I was winded and quite sore. So I'd taken my helmet off and I said to him, yeah, I'm all good, but I'm done for the day, is what I kind of thought. And in my head, I'm like, oh, this hurts, but it's all good. Probably gonna be sore for a week or two, but oh well, it's the end of the season. And so I do have another angle of it. Again, I apologize. It's filmed vertically just for like an Instagram story rather than horizontally for YouTube. And you actually can't see too much, but you can see and hear the point when I realize I've sort of got a broken collarbone. So I'll turn it right up, and hopefully you guys can hear it when it's playing. But here we go. So yeah, you can't really see anything, but you can hear it. The first, you're right. Yeah, there I am saying, yeah, I am. I'm just sore. And you can see already I'm holding my arm like this, which is kind of a telltale sign you've got shoulder damage. So you can hear me yelling and going, ow, this hurts, which is about all that is. I'm trying to walk it off at this stage. If I fast forward a while, you then see I walk back this way, I'm still holding it. And right there, so I'll just rewind. Right there, you hear me? I put my right hand on my shoulder and go, ah. So I press down on my collarbone and I go, oh shoot, I'm pretty sure that's broken or something's wrong. And it hurt quite a bit. So it's about here I realize, oh, I'm in a bit of trouble. And you can't really hear. I said to Christian, I need to go to the hospital, man. And that's, yeah, saying, fudge, saying it hurts. Christian, the legend he is, collects my bike and my gear. And so at this stage, Christian packed up all the gear and drove me to hospital like an absolute legend. And like, it was so painful. I couldn't believe how much this hurt. So for context of injuries I've had, I've broken my right wrist, my left wrist, my right foot twice, my left foot. I've torn my ACL, torn meniscus, torn cartilage, broken ribs, all riding injuries, which all hurt. But this was so much worse than any of those. Like, I always thought that because so many people break their collarbones, it must be quite a straightforward injury. But holy bananas, it hurt. So like the car ride there was just absolute misery. I was just struggling to hold it together. Every bump in the car and Christian was driving, I was like, this sucks, this hurts. Luckily, the Gore Hospital was only like 2 minutes away. When we got to the hospital, he actually had to get me a wheelchair because I was in so much pain, I was struggling to stand up. And amazingly, when I got to the Gore Hospital, they actually checked me in straight away. Within, I'd say, 5 minutes max, they had me on a bed sitting up. They gave me, I think it was called fentanyl. I can't really remember. It's probably not right. They gave me, like, it's not laughing gas, but a different gas that you suck on this tube, like, and oh, it made me feel spacey and nauseous, but far out it helped with the pain. They then got an IV in my right arm and started pumping morphine into me. And honestly, within 15 minutes of being in the hospital, the pain was completely under control, which was cool. They did have to cut my shirt and stuff off. I couldn't get it off. My arm was just so sore to move. And then, yeah, I went through the basics, was on the painkillers, was probably in the hospital for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. They assessed my arm, gave me painkillers, gave me the sling, immobilized my arm with a band around here, did the x-rays. My mum came down, which is really funny. This happened the day before Mother's Day. The next day we were meant to be taking a walk together for Mother's Day and having lunch. But unfortunately we spent it in the hospital, but it goes to show how cool my mum is. So shout out to mum if you watch this. And yeah, essentially the hospital sucked, and then we got to the point where I got to come home, and that's where I've been for the last couple of weeks. This has been my office for the past 11 days, team. So for the first week, I was sleeping in this lazy boy chair. Shout out to Kane Rogers for giving me this. So we had put the leg rest out. I'd lean back. We had the Pokemon hoodie over top to keep it warm. I'd have blankets to prop me up. On the side here, I'd have this tray with a laptop where I could play games. Like I've been playing a bit of old school RuneScape or doing work for camp. Have a water bottle, and Becca would put the TV remote, my phone, and snacks there for me as well. So the first week was sleeping in here. It was pretty dang painful, like sitting up, crouching down, all that kind of stuff absolutely sucked. But after a week, the doctor okayed me to transition to the couch. This is where I've been sleeping for the past, like 4 nights. So I lean up on the Gengar onesie, the Gengar Squishmallow, excuse me. So obviously I'm a huge Pokemon fan. Then I have some pillows up here to prop my arm against, and blankets to keep me in. The reason why I can't sleep in a bed is just because moving around too much could damage it more at the moment. So the first week in the chair was probably the hardest. What I was able to do in terms of rehab is each day I'd get outside for about half an hour and sit in the sun, as vitamin D is super important for bone development. And I'd also walk up and down the driveway a few times just to get the blood flowing and try to feel good getting that fresh air. And then I'd sit in the chair as well and take my arm out of the sling and just straighten and extend my elbow a bit, do some flexion of my forearm just to try and stop that from getting really stiff. And then I had another doctor's appointment on Friday, and after that they okayed me to start using this exercise bike. And so I'd start using the exercise bike. So each day I sit here on the exercise bike, watch an episode of The Office while I'm pedaling, and then go have a shower. And that's just helped me to stay fit and to keep happy and offset the fitness I've been losing, get some blood pumping to the collarbone to heal it. And then pretty much the rest of the time I'm just in this chair, either playing games, watching shows like The Office or Brooklyn Nine-Nine, or doing a bit of work for camp. For context of why I was trying the oppo truck, I didn't go to the session planning to learn to do oppo truck drivers. It wasn't on my mind at all. It wasn't the first thing I tried during the day either. So me and Christian were having a super good session. We're probably 2.5 hours in by the time I started trying the oppo 3s. So during the session I'd already done a lot of really good riding, warmed up really well. I've done some good no-foot cans, done a few really big flip 1-foot cans I'd stoked on, ripped some massive 3 tables, and I'd actually learned truck to X or 360 bar spin to X up, which I was super stoked on because I've only really recently, I guess, got truck drivers locked in. And to learn the truck to X felt amazing. To do it quite a few times was like, I was so stoked, and I got it quite click. So I ticked off a new trick. I was feeling really, really good. And then, when you're riding together with a buddy who's on a similar level, you do this thing called feeding off each other where, like, your friend will do a trick, you're like, that was pretty sick, I want to try something. Then you'll do something pretty sick, and then he'll try something pretty sick. You just boost each other up all the time. So after I learned the truck to X, I sort of took a break for a few minutes, and Christian started trying 3 down whips. Now, this is a trick he's been working on for, like 6 years in the time I've been riding it. I've seen him try it forever and never really landing it. And he actually landed one, and that just got me so flippin' stoked. He was stoked, putting in work for this trick for ages. He got it done. And like me and Christian, we don't really call it feeding off each other. We call it the special meter. So whenever you land a trick, it boosts up your special meter until your special meter is going crazy and you feel like you can do anything. And so him landing the 3 down whip, he had actually done some flip whips before this as well. He's actually got his flip whips so dialed now they did 5 in a row without crashing. So special meter was really high. I'm like, I got to try something. And so I decided to try an oppo 3s jump. I have done oppo 360s before. So again, normally I spin to the left. For oppo 3, I spin to the right. But the biggest thing I'd ever done it on was my Wii airbag landing I used for show. So doing it to his bag was pretty big. I managed to get it first try, as you'll see in this clip here. It wasn't like perfect, but I did land pretty straight. I was stoked. As you would have heard, he was like, yeah, nice, like special meters popping off. So I did a couple more oppo 3s. And I thought, man, stuff with the oppo 3 is working pretty good. Should I try an oppo truck? Because a couple weeks before on the big airbag in Invercargill, I actually learned to oppo truck first try. So I was like, stuff it. I decided to try the oppo truck. Threw 2 of them. First one didn't get super close, landed like on my side. You can hear Christian saying, what the heck? Which, like he did not expect me to try it. I didn't expect I'd get that close to it first try. Second try got really close and just looped out. And then this crash happened on the 3rd try where, as I said, I was going for the oppo truck, didn't throw the bars, my knees got wrong, and we talked about it and I crashed. But we're having a really, really good session. And for a bit of behind the scenes, what we've been up to, you guys may have already seen my video called How I Learned My Hardest MTB Tricks, Insane MTB Progression, where I started off the video in Invercargill on the big flat airbag with Devin Williamson, Lockie Mason, and Ross Williamson, where I had a few tricks I wanted to learn on that flat bag, do them a bunch of times. I did that in the morning, then drove back to Gore and tried to do some of those tricks to Christian's airbag landing, where I ended up landing my first ever 3-whip, my first ever proper truck driver, and did some front flips again. And that was an amazing session getting all those tricks done. If you haven't seen that, make sure you go watch that. I'll put the wee boxing to watch it. And during that session, Christian learned his flip bar as well. And from there, me and him were just getting really, really stoked on bikes. And we're like, man, we got to session this thing every weekend. And that's what we've been doing. And throughout that time, I've learned a couple new tricks. In particular, I really learned to do backflip tuck no handers, which I'm stoked on. So I learned down the big airbag in Invercargill, and then took it to my resi at my jumps. So really stoked to do some flip no handers on my jumps. And then did a bunch on Christian's bag, which is awesome. Relearned nothings. Obviously, Christian got the flip whip stalled, but Christian has been going nuts lately. So Christian sucks at 360s, but a few things he's done is he truck drivered his jump, which is amazing. So he never 360s it. He did a 360 tuck, no hander on it, which was insane. Like, I would love to learn three tucks, never even been close. And Christian got it like second try, which is incredible. And he was then trying to throw double trucks. Didn't quite get it because he kept sliding out. Even tried a triple truck in the rain, which was insane. He has got his flip whips dialed. He can do them every try now. He's been getting them first try, which is amazing. Incredible to watch him do flip whips. Like, it is a cool trick. Obviously, the 3 down whip, he doesn't have that dialed yet. He's probably landed like half a dozen of them, which is amazing. Like, that is a big trick. You see the guys doing it in slopestyle comps. Pretty flipping cool to see Christian doing the 3 down whip. And then my favorite trick of his that he learned is Christian learned the flip bar spin to tuck no hander. That is a huge combo. Like, even the flip bar in itself was a dream trick for me, but to see him get the flip bar and then pull onto the tuck no hander was amazing. So Christian's been killing it. And then just having the chance to do truck drivers every day, like get the truck to X. I've got really comfy on doing Indy cans. As I said, the nothings, the flip tucks. And riding really, really awesome. And actually, I've gotten super comfy on front flips and double flips, so much so that every session I usually do at least 2 of them. It used to be only a couple times a year trick, but now every session I do a couple of double flips. Like, pretty casually and pretty early in the session, which feels amazing, and to be front flipping again after changing my technique feels amazing. I've even been trying to get fronty combos. I'll put in a clip of me trying this front flip tuck. Completely stuffed it up, but it's pretty cool to be in a space where I'm trying front flip tuck and just doing all these big tricks all the time with Christian. So, as I said, like, the DD airbag landing's amazing. Been having heaps of fun riding this thing with Christian and getting new tricks done. And that's kind of what I've been up to. Haven't been filming videos as much, been just been riding, having fun. And I usually put my phone on the tripod, have it sitting there vertically, just in case I get something to post on, like, I don't know, an Instagram reel, TikTok, or my story. And I've been having heaps of fun doing it, getting really, really dialed, riding at the highest level I've ever been at. And this ultimately led to me wanting to try the oppo truck to continue trying to progress. And I'd honestly say, like, in terms of the hardest tricks I've done, the 360 backflip's the hardest, personally, then the 360 tail whip, the double backflip, and then probably oppo truck. It's probably the 4th hardest trick I think I've ever tried to learn. So definitely a banger and a bucket list one. Will I go back to it? Not too sure, but I'm pretty chuffed I tried it, regardless of breaking my collarbone. And, like, oh no, it's been so much fun having these sessions with Christian, because there honestly is no better feeling of being scared to try a trick, pushing through, landing it, your buddy gets excited, and then they do the same thing. Like, it's just so much fun. You just, I don't know, it's just the best time in the world. Can't recommend it enough. And if you've done it before, you know what I'm talking about. To finish off the video, I just wanted to give you guys some tips and tricks of how to recover from injuries, or at least how I do it, because as I said, this is my 7th broken bone. I've had 1, 2, 3 surgeries. I know a bit about recovering and how hard it is getting an injury. So my first tip is that expect it in the first 3 days post-injury. So say you break your collarbone like me, the 3 days following it, they're basically going to suck. It's going to get worse before it gets better. Make sure you take your medication, drink plenty of water, eat healthy, and surround yourself with some good people. So set yourself up well for the first 3 days is my first tip. My second tip, as soon as you can get a bit of a routine going, get it going. For me, I get up at 8 o'clock every morning when Becca leaves for work. I read the verse of the day, do like a bit of a Bible study. Then on my phone, I have a list called my gratitude list, where I write down 10 things I'm grateful for in the current day. They don't have to be huge world-changing things. So for example, on my list today, if I bring it up, I wrote down that I'm grateful for, it's a sunny day outside today. It's a really nice day. I can walk a little bit more. I got to try sleeping in the bed, and Loki came to play with me this morning. So just small things that actually aren't world-changing, but I find if you can write down 10 things you're grateful for each day, it gives you a bit of perspective of, well, yes, it sucks to be injured. There's still plenty of things to be grateful for. My third tip would be to get outside as often as you can, get fresh air, get in the sun, because one, it makes you feel better, you sort of get out of the house, feel less stuffy, and vitamin D helps to cure bones, simple as that. 4, as soon as you're allowed to do any kind of rehab, make sure you do it and religiously and strictly follow your rehab schedule. Even if it's just straightening your arm each day, make sure you do it multiple times a day. Because the more rehab you do, the better you're going to feel, the quicker you're going to recover. And I know so many people who haven't done rehab correctly before, and then they say, oh, I broke my arm and it doesn't work anymore. Or like, oh, I can't ride anymore because I tore my ACL and I didn't do the rehab. Human bodies are amazing. They can repair themselves well, but you got to put in the work. So make sure you put in the work, do the hard yards so you don't regret it later. But don't go too hard. Only do what you're allowed to do. And so I guess my fourth and final tip, while it's an easy one, is to eat healthy and rest as much as you can. There's no shame in taking time off work. I'm already on my second week off work. Eat as much fruit and veggies, sleep as much as you can, because it's going to help your body recover. You don't want to rush into things and re-injure yourself or make it worse. And actually, my fifth tip, I have a fifth one. Don't rush into getting into your sport or riding as quickly as possible, and don't feel like you have to get back and try that trick straight away. I definitely won't be trying an aqua truck for probably at least like 10 months if I even try it again, because I don't want to injure myself again. I want to take it easy, build that confidence back up, and have fun. Those are some tips from me of how to best recover from injuries. Obviously, this injury isn't that huge. Another thing I'd actually recommend doing is going to listen to BMX. Is a YouTube channel. It's called BMX. They have the Unclicked podcast. Dakota Roche and Carl Emmers were both on that podcast recently. I'll put a link in the description to those videos. Have a listen to those guys, because they suffered a broken back, and one guy actually lost his eye. And they're at the top end of professional BMX, and just how they've dealt with it is really inspiring. So I actually also recommend listening to podcasts and stuff like that. But in any case, guys, that's going to be the end of this video, detailing and showing you guys how I broke my collarbone, what I've been up to on the bike, what I've been up to since I broke my collarbone, and hopefully inspiring you a little bit or giving you some tips on how you can recover from your injuries easier if you're injured. So be sure to give the video a like, comment below what your favorite part of the video was, or if you're struggling with an injury, I'd love to chat to you about it. Share the video with anyone who might benefit from it, and subscribe if you're new. Cheers, team.